door dashing for my summer job. I started 3 days ago, I think. And yeah, so I just wanted to talk about an experience that I just had today. Well, first of all, my first ever DoorDash, my dad came with me because I wanted to have the support in case I needed help and just to get the feel for it, and he wanted to see what it was like. So he came, and the first trip that we got, I remember we went at like 10:20ish a.m., so it wasn't too crowded. We went to a breakfast place. I picked up the stuff. The person ordered like 4 drinks, so I have this huge drink holder, and then I have this huge bag of food, and it was just me. So I'm like struggling to carry it to the car, and my dad helps me. We put it in the car, drive to the place. It's an apartment, and the number of the apartment we could not find, and so we asked someone, and they were like, that number does not exist. Like, okay, that's cool. And then we call the number that DoorDash provided. A female answers, even though it was a man's name. I believe his name was Bruce or something. And then so she answers, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll send my boyfriend down. And so then we're like, okay, and we're just driving looking for some guy, and then a guy comes, and we're like, oh, maybe that's him. He's like, DoorDash. We're like, yeah, what's the name? And he was like, Pete. We're like, oh, it must be someone else then. We're looking for Bruce. He's like, okay. And then we're like driving, and he like follows us down, and he's like, are you sure? My girlfriend just told me to come down. We're like, okay, what's the order for? Oh yeah, it's for this place. And we're like, okay, I guess that's him. But we're like, yeah, the name was Bruce. And so how do you put in for DoorDash, you put your address and your name? So I'm just like, but now I'm thinking about it, like, I wonder if that girl, her account was like linked like to somebody else, and like maybe she had somebody else's like saved on her phone, and I'm like, his name was Bruce. Like, was she like cheating on her boyfriend? Like, you know what I'm saying? I just thought about that right now. But like, that's kind of scary, honestly, because I don't they seemed like nice people. The guy seemed nice, but yeah, I don't know what happened when they went back. But anyway, so that was my first DoorDash experience, and then my dad ended up driving the rest of the way, and then I would just get out and do the deliveries. It was very stressful. Today, I got one for 7-Eleven, the gas station, and I'm like, who DoorDashes from 7-Eleven? But it was like $9, and it was only 3 miles, and I'm like, that's really good, because that's a really short distance, and $9 is pretty good. Plus, that could be higher if they tipped me more. So anyways, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I was right there. So I go to 7-Eleven, I get the stuff. It was like a bunch of drinks, like an ice cream pint, a slushie, a huge gallon of water, and I was just carrying all this stuff. I'm like, who the hell orders all of this stuff? But anyways, I wasn't gonna judge. And so then I drive to the place, and it's an apartment. Normally you put the number like the previous one. This person did not put a number, and so I was like, how am I supposed to know where to drop this off? And so I call the number, no response. Sorry, my door just closed. I call the number, no response. Text, no response. And then the app has a thing where you can say, like, you can't find the customer. So I did that, and it started like a 4-minute timer, and if that runs out, then you can just leave the food somewhere safe, and then send a picture and you leave. And so I was like, okay. So I kept trying to see if I could contact, nothing. So I called like 4 times, texted, and so then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it by this tree, I guess. And I told him the apartment that it was across from, the number. And then, yeah, I did not get a text back. Actually, the number called, but I was not gonna answer because I'm like, sorry, like, I dropped it off, you're gonna get the picture. Like, that was just kind of creepy to me, and I don't know, like, that really freaked me out. And I was running out of gas anyways, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna end this trip right now and go get gas and go home. So I just did that, and that was just a crazy experience. Like, DoorDash is actually turned out to be crazy. But besides that, I have made really good money so far. I've done it like, let me see, 1 day, 2 day, 3. Yesterday was only like, so I've done it like 5 days. The first day I did 2 hours and I made like 30, so that's like 15 an hour. And that was the first day. Second day I did like 3.5 and I made $80. So that's like pretty good. And then the next day I did like 4 hours and I made like 86. So that wasn't as good. I didn't get good enough tips. And then yesterday I only went for like an hour and I got 23. So that's pretty good, 23 for an hour. Like, that's above minimum wage. And today I went for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think. And I made like 50. So, yeah. I just wanted to add in another thing that happened to me yesterday. So, yeah, yesterday I was door dashing. Where did I go? I went to like a sandwich place, I think. Yeah. So I was waiting for the sandwich, and then they had it made, so I go, and then I go to get back in my car, and I'm like, oh, perfect. So I get in my car, and I parked pretty close, so it was nice, and then I'm like, wait a second, this does not smell like my car. You know how you have those, like, smells that you associate with things? Well, I, like, know my smell, and I was like, this smells like, it honestly smelled like an old person's car. You know how you have that smell? Which it smelled pretty good, actually. It wasn't like a bad smell or anything. But like, it's like, this is not my car. And it was the same exact car though. They didn't lock their doors, which was crazy. But I get in the car and I'm like, what the hell? This is not my car. So then I get out and I go zoom away in my car. But like, I really hope that person locks their doors now, because I almost took the wrong car. I just went to a restaurant. It was a Chili's, and it was close to where I was, and I was like, great. I pick up the food, and the original price was $6, but they don't show you the tip right away, so, and I look at what they ordered, and it was like a $40 order, so I was like, oh, this person's probably gonna tip pretty well, considering how expensive the meal was. And so it was $6, but it was all the way in the town, like a different town for me, and I think it was like 7 miles. So normally I wouldn't do that, but I kind of had a feeling they were gonna tip me, and so I go and I do the trip. No tip at all. I'm like, this person did not tip me at all, and they just ordered a shit ton of food. So I was angry. And then I get another trip in that area. I was like, sure, it was to a McDonald's, and so I set my GPS, and then it has me getting on the freeway. And then my phone starts flipping out, and it's like not working, and I was going crazy because I did not know how to get there. And then once I did get my phone to work, the GPS was telling me to stop literally on the freeway. I'm like, there's no McDonald's here. And so I did not understand it. And then my phone was also telling me, it was like, if you don't pick this up soon, your trip's gonna be reassigned. And I was like, yeah, no shit, because I'm not at the restaurant, and it's like 10 minutes late already. And so eventually I figured out how to decline the trip, and I just said something like, I'm having app troubles, because that was an option. And so I put that. But that was just so annoying, and I drove around for like an hour and a half, and I made $6. So I burned so much gas just trying to get to this freaking McDonald's. Also, that hasn't been the most frustrating thing. There's another big thing that happened, but I'm not gonna share it with everybody, so if you really want to know, then you can like reach out to me personally if you know me, because yeah, I'm not gonna share it, but yeah, it was crazy day. That day I was very, very mad that day. But if you want to know that experience, which was the worst thing that's happened so far, then just let me know. Oh, I've gotten more 7-Eleven orders, and so I never accept those because I'm scared that it's going to take me to some creepy apartment, and then the guy's not going to answer and tell me where to go, and I don't know. That's just very sketchy to me. Did a DoorDash with my dad and brother on Father's Day, and we thought it would be fun because it's like, you know, we get to see what crap people order. And so it was during breakfast time, and so I go to this one breakfast place, end up waiting there for like 35 minutes because it was packed to get the order, and then my dad had to leave for work that day, and so we only did that one delivery, and so it was pretty lame. It was not as fun as we thought, but we'll have to try that again when it's not Father's Day. Still, I'm getting gas like a lot more than I used to, so that's an expense. Plus I'm gonna have to pay for taxes at the end of the year, so like the money that I'm making is actually really not as much as it would normally be. As it shows up on the app, I'm like, wow, that's a lot, but then I'm like, wait, I'm paying for gas, and then, you know, all this other stuff, taxes, so yeah, it kind of sucks, but you know, it's, what else am I gonna do? Now I'm gonna go watch Ben Higgins' season of The Bachelor to de-stress, because I'm very frustrated right now. I literally had such a fun day door dashing. And I was like gonna go home, and I checked and the address was like pretty close to my house, so I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect, this will be the last one. And it was for a bagel place, and so I went to the bagel place, and then when I got the address, I was like, this sounds so familiar. Like, the address, I was like, I've heard this before, and I did not know why. And then my friend called me, but I was focused on the directions, so I declined her. And I was like, wait, she called me, and I realized that it was her house, and it wasn't her name, it was like her mom's name in the thing, and so I didn't know it was her, or else I probably would have figured it out sooner. But it was so funny. And then she texted me and she was like, are you door dashing right now? And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, I think I'm going to your house. She was like, oh my god, I saw Rachel B. And I was like, oh no. It was just so funny. And so then I was like laughing on the way to her house, and I didn't even need the GPS because I know how to get to her house. And it was just so funny. And then when I texted, because you're supposed to text them, I texted like the normal thing. I said like, enjoy, your food's at the door, and then at the end I said, love you. It was just so funny. I don't know, I just cracked up at that. But honestly, in the car I actually get really stressed out, and I start like not talking. I guess I kind of talk to myself, like I'm like talking myself through it. Like when the map is telling me to do things, I kind of just like respond, because it's very stressful. It's so fast paced. And then just, yeah, if anyone thought DoorDash was gonna be easy, then like, maybe it is for you, because you might have a good experience, but so far I have had a lot of stressful encounters with this app. So yeah, but it makes good money, so do it. And this is the time, because gas is really cheap right now.